This sibling group was best known for their up-tempo hits. Their crisp vocalizing and clean-cut boy next door image made them favorites on shows such as The Mike Douglas Show and American Bandstand, to mention a few. The centerpiece of today's video is all about the Tavares. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Feliciano Tavares' 7 boys was all born into that calling. The earliest musical instruction was given to them by their father at home. The 7 boys are John, Ralph, Arthur, aka Pooch, Antone, aka Chubby, Victor, Feliciano Jr., aka Butch, Perry Lee, aka Tiny, and Victor. The music industry called Papa Tavares Flash, who was a very talented and skilled self-taught guitarist and singer. Flash started playing jazz and popular music on the radio thanks to his growing record collection. By the 40s, he developed his unique sound by fusing modern beats and instrumentals with ancient Cape Verdean melodies, Americanizing the music but never forgetting his origins. He became the guiding light of the Cape Verdean American music scene in the southern New England for the next 6 decades. The boys' mother, Albina Gomez, and their aunt, Flash's sister, Victoria Vieira, was also singers. Like her brother, Vicky had also developed an original sound singing Cape Verdean music with jazz stylings and worked with some of the top bands in New England, including the Skyliners and Phil Barbosa Latin dance band alongside the teenage Chick Corea. Thanks to the older generation, there was always music around the Tavares household, with the boys joining the adults in various combinations. As they began to reach their teens, the brothers became attuned to the new, exciting sounds of rhythm and blues sweeping the nation, and they began to work up their own close harmony vocal style. While Flash was open to almost anything musical, his interest in R&B went no further than the funky jazz of Jimmy McGriff, organ-driven quartet, and he drew the line at rock and roll. And so it fell to the feet of his oldest son, John, to guide the boys into a new direction.
I came from a family of 10, 3 sisters and 7 brothers. The brothers were all gifted from the good Lord and from our dad, who was an entertainer. Out of all my brothers, and we all sang very well, I was the clown. I was the front man. John is the one who taught us doo-wop. We used to follow groups such as the Flamingos, the Hoptones, the Moonglows. They all potentially had great harmonies. And my brother John said, yeah, we can be like them, but we have to create our own sound. And we did that for a few years.
On the home front, Chubby and Pooch formed a new group with their younger brother Butch, which they called Chubby and the Realities. At first, as an underage act, they couldn't perform at nightclubs and bars, but they quickly made a name for themselves on the New England teen scene, playing at high schools, Catholic youth organization dances, youth clubs, and sock hops. Ralph became a paratrooper in the Army Airborne Division and wound up stationed at Fort Campbell, which is straddled in the Kentucky-Tennessee border. On the weekends, he made his way up to Detroit, Michigan to see the up-and-coming acts at the famous 20th Grand Club, which was the proving grounds for most MOTOWN early acts. Watching performances by acts such as the Contours, the Marvelettes, and the Four Tops, Ralph was certainly impressed, but was also making mental notes about the future. While he thought these groups was great, He felt that the groups wasn't doing anything that him and his brothers couldn't do. And he also believed that his family could even do it better. When Ralph was honorably discharged in 1964, he returned to New England and tracked down his brothers, who was performing in nightclubs at this time. They was fronting the band, but making very little money. Although Butch was a star attraction, the band leader was not paying them accordingly. Ralph laid out a plan to take the group to a professional level, and eventually seeking a major label recording contract, and he convinced his brothers that he could take things to the top. Ralph returned to the group, and they began rehearsing with a vengeance and finding work at clubs, which he had house bands to back them. During one such engagement in 1967, opening up for the OJs in Boston, they was accompanied by the Preachers, a band led by saxophonist Quinn Harris. Quinn was studying at Berklee College of Music in Boston under the name of Quincy Jones, and was working at clubs at night to support itself. The brothers hit it off with Quinn, his drummer Jim Atkins, and a young keyboard player in the band named Bernie Worrell. And they all decided to work together. With their own backing band in place, they started performing in the nightclubs around the New England area and wound up working regularly over the next couple of years at the Jim Nantz Lounge Club, which was owned by the star Patriots running back at the time. With that new professional look and outlook, their group reputation grew, and they became one of the top acts in the Northeast area. Now during this time, Atkins, he left the band and was replaced by Joey Kramer. They began making forays into the New York City, knocking on doors, looking for opportunities. Later that year, the group signed with Capitol Records. Now before they released any recordings, the label questioned the relevance of their reality group name and ultimately decided that it was too old-fashioned sounding. They rechristened the group with a name that would invoke the exciting mood, then enveloping the youth of America. It was named after the fast modern interstate road system that was being put in place under the President Eisenhower Highway Act of 1956. They went by the name Chubby and the Turnpikes. The group took it in stride, but their fans didn't miss a beat. The name change became official, and it began building itself as Chubby and the Turnpikes while waiting the release of their first ever record.
And I created a group. The group consists of 4 guys. I had a 3-piece rhythm section: guitar, bass guitar, and drums. And we called ourselves Chubby and the Realities. I did this for a few years. My brother Ralph got out of the service. Ralph came in. Then we brought my brother Victor in. That's when we changed the name to Chubby and the Turnpike.
When the song finally came out in 1968, the song was called I Know the Inside Story. Now this song was big news in southern New England.
It's not your fault things worked out wrong.
The record was played all over the Northeast and sales was brisk. The attendance at their shows grew tremendously, and they began making regular local TV appearances and became opening acts for many big stars coming through that area. But even with the big giant Capitol Records machine behind them, the record did not become a national hit as they all hoped it would be. I Know the Inside Story, back with I Didn't Try, it's considered one of the finest Northern Soul records ever made. Around this time, Ralph was able to place Chubby and the Turnpikes with a major talent agency. He got an appointment in New York City at the Bowen Agency, run by Ruth Bowen, the first African American woman to start up a booking agency. She knew talent when she saw it, as she discovered Tommy Hunt. But her eyes set on signing the best talent, she took on the group, kicked the quality of their bookings up a notch, and soon had them appearing in such high-profile settings as opening acts for Ike and Tina Turner at the Boston Arena. It was another curbside performance which would set the stage for their eventual success and stardom, and introduce them to a man who will also loom large in their careers in the upcoming years.
So we continued on as Chubby and the Turnpikes for quite a few years. And in 1967, I decided to leave the group for a little while for personal reasons. And when I did that, my brothers changed the name because there was no Chubby there anymore. So they changed the name to the Turnpikes. And they continued on working for a couple of years before I rejoined them in 1971. My brother Butch had just got married to a well-known celebrity named Lola Falana. And she had a tour in Italy and had us on the show with her as her opening act. And when you go to Italy, they don't have the slightest idea what a turnpike is. They have autobahns, but no turnpike. So that's when we decided, as all brothers, being in a family group all our lives, why have crazy names? Let's name the group the way it should be, after our family, Tavares. We just finished the demo, and the demo was called Check It Out, oh check it out, check out your mind. Not knowing that Brian Pinello was going to go, he was our manager, and went and got a deal for us with Capitol Records.
In 1973, they changed their name to Tavares, and they scored their first top 40 pop hit and first R&B top 10 hit with the song Check It Out.
Can't get uptight if it means anything.
This song soon began charting regularly on the R&B and pop charts. Their first album included their brother, Victor, who sang lead on the song Check It Out, but he dropped out of the group shortly afterwards. In 1974, Tavares had their first #1 R&B hit single with the song She's Gone.
It's right for me. I need a drink.
1975 turned out to be their most successful year, chart-wise, with a top 40 pop album in the city, along with the number 25 hit, Remember What I Told You to Forget.
This time, and I only get 3 minutes time.
In their biggest hit, the top 10 pop and #1 R&B smash, It Only Takes a Minute.
Happy year, trying to find a new career.
The group parlayed the success into a spot as an opening act for the Jackson 5. It Only Takes a Minute was followed by a string of hits such as Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel, Don't Take Away the Music, which both was released in 1976.
It's my piece of pride.
And Whodunit, that was released in 1977 and became another #1 R&B hit.
Who took my honey? Who done it? I know the more.
That same year, they also recorded the song I Want to See You Soon, which was a duet with Capitol label mate Freda Payne.
Honey, I've been missing you.
That makes 2 of us, baby.
Which received airplay on the BBC radio but failed to chart. Many of their hits, however, underplayed their R&B background and gave the group the image of being a disco act. This perception was reinforced by their appearance on the soundtrack to the film Saturday Night Fever in 1977. Tavares recorded the Bee Gees song More Than a Woman, and their version reached the top 40 on the pop charts that same year.
Everything I do, you got me working day and night, just trying to keep a hold on you.
The soundtrack became one of the most successful songs in history, giving the Tavares their only Grammy Award. Later albums, such as Madam Butterfly and Supercharged, strayed away from the disco format and was less successful on the pop charts. Although they continue to have top 10 R&B hits such as Never Had a Love Like This Before and
More than just a love token. Hey girl.
And and the popular socio-political Bad Times, written by British singer-songwriter Gerald McMahon.
Desire when you done lost the will. Talking about bad times.
At the time of the 80s, the Tavares left Capitol Records and signed with RCA Records. Although around this time, the group's chart success began to die down, they had one last major hit with the song A Penny for Your Thoughts.
Penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me.
Now, this song was nominated for a Grammy Award in 1982. The last major release was Words and Music in 1983. In 1984, Ralph stepped down for the group and Pooch took over as a non-commissioned business and booking agent for the group from 1984 to 2014. Tiny left the group in the mid-90s to pursue a solo career, while the other three brothers continued to tour. In 2009, Tiny rejoined the group. Papa Tavares, the family patriarch and father of the group, passed away in 2008. Bubby released his first solo album, Jealousy, on July 17, 2012. A few months after the group, the Four Tops and the Temptations toured together in the UK. In 2013, the brothers was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the National R&B Music Society Black Tie Gala in Atlantic City, New Jersey. All six brothers attended and performed together on stage for the first time in 37 years. In 2014, Pooch suffered a stroke and the business and booking for the group was overturned to Royola Management LLC. He regained his health and opted for retirement. Ralph passed away on December 8, 2021, just 2 days before his 80th birthday. Pooch passed away in April of 2024 at the age of 81. Now, before I go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from the Tavares?